When you take the quiz on 50 points, what I'm looking at is these first two standards. Is that can you solve a linear system by graphing? That was the quiz that we just took that was out of 10 points, where I give you two equations and I ask you to graph them. There were a lot of you that when you look at this, this is a 2 on the standard. So I can graph a linear equation with the correct slope and y-intercept. A lot of you did not use the start point of your y-intercept and use the slope. You didn't have, when I was looking for your m point, positive slopes go up and negative goes down, and you didn't have that at a positive, you had it just the opposite. And when you looked at the b is that beginning point, that 0b. So rewriting it in slope-intercept form, so if you're thinking you can do these, you would check these off. Like everything in level 3 and 2, as you look at this, and our goal for you is to be here at level 3. I can solve a system. A lot of you solved it, you did the graph, and then you didn't tell me the solution. So when you're graphing these, determining the solution, that is, it's either going to be an x comma y, it's going to be no solution, or it's going to be infinitely many. And so you need to know what that looks like on the graph. And then this part down here, doing it algebraically. So today, I am going to be checking homework. So algebraically, again, you can rewrite them to use both substitution and elimination. This is what your quiz will be on next week. So what you're going to be looking at today, I'm going to have you go back to your F5. F5 in your workbook starts on page 38. So starting from page 38, and what I'm going to be looking at is, did you use substitution? Do you understand how to do these? Now, I am amazed that on many people's papers for 9 and 10, I see a multiple choice answer and I don't see any work. You still need to do the work for 9 and 10. You need to show me if you got one solution that you got x equals or y equals. So the main thing is, for a lot of these, what you want to do is you want to say, oh, in number 8, y is equal to this. And now I'm going to replace that here. So if you didn't finish the problem, you had 2 plus, it was negative, you had a 2 out in front here, negative 9 plus 3x equals 4x. If you didn't show the work down here for number 9, you want to make sure you do that work for number 9 and number 10 so that I can give you full credit for these, okay? So that was one of the things. So I'm going to be coming around and checking. F5, that's doing substitution. F6, I for sure need you to have this whole first column done, and I would say at least through number 8. If you did any of the rest of those, that's going to be bonus. So if I am looking at the F6, I am really looking at questions 1 to 8, that you have that done, okay? So if you didn't have that, 1 to 8, please write that on the top of your F6. As you look at F7, this is more substitution than you were doing. And I know at one point, I think on the video, I said to do, what was it, like 5 to 12, and then another one I said to do the evens. So evens and 11. So I'm okay if you did 5 through 12, or if you did the evens and 11. I'm just going to be looking at yours, and I'll give you credit either way, depending on how you look as you're looking at that. And then you started eliminating. Yesterday we went through that you only have to do 1 to 10. I gave you the answer for both 11 and 12. So make sure you write down this answer for number 12 was at 4, negative 4. We did number 11. The answer was negative 4, 1. So you should get that whole joke filled in. And then yesterday, we said you were doing the odds on G9 and number 12. As you do the work, and you're doing it on a sheet of notebook paper, I want you to staple that in on one of the pages. Like, staple it on the top corner so you don't lose it, and I can give you credit. So what I want to do right now is go, first thing, we want to look for a variable that has a 1 in front of it. So if I'm looking at my 2 equations, I have a negative 2, I have a 3. This x has a 1 in front of it. This has a positive 2. What I want to do is I want to rewrite this equation, and I want it to be x equals all by itself. So what do I need to do, Rajan, if I want to get rid of the 2y here? we're going to subtract 2y on both sides. So my new equation, Caitlin, would be that x equals 7 minus 2y. When I look at this, I don't care if you want to put this in a box or you want to put this in a parenthesis, okay? This is what I'm going to go to this first equation, and I'm going to put this x in a parenthesis. And what I'm doing is I'm replacing, instead of putting an x in that equation, I'm going to put what x is equal to. So I'm going to write -2, and then I'm going to put parentheses. If you've done number 7, awesome. You can be working on something else. If not, you should be writing this one down. So 7 minus 2y, because that's where my x was, right? I'm going to continue with, right behind the -2x was a plus 3y equals 14. Patrick, what is my next step?
Multiply -2 by 7.
Okay, gives me
-14.
-14.
And then positive 4y.
And plus 4y. This is a really super easy mistake to make because some of you, the hint might be, remember, if you think of this as maybe plus a -2 and then negative times a negative is positive 4y. We're going to continue with the rest of the problem, which is plus 3y equals 14. So at this point, if I am looking at solving this, what are you going to do next? Back to equations from way back. What do I need to do? Add the like terms. So if I add like terms, you'd write down what? Could I add anything with -14? No, so I'm going to keep -14. Plus what?
7y.
Plus 7y equals 14. Sam, next step.
Add 14.
Add 14. Once I've added 14 on both sides, Olivia, what am I ending up with? So 28 equals 7y. Abby, I want to find what y equals. What do I have to do? Divide by 7. When I've done that, Rowan, I'm going to end up with y is equal to y equals 4. So at this point in number 7, what I know is that the y value is a 4. I need to now find the x value. So knowing when I'm looking at it, which equation, if I go back to my original or one that I rewrote, is going to be pretty easy to find what x is equal to. Second or first one? First. That first one. Okay. So if I'm going to go with the first one, I probably would have gone the second one. I think it's a little easier, but we'll go with your first one. So we put -2x, right? Plus 3y equals 14. Tell me what to write if you're gonna. If we already know y is 4, how do I solve for the x?
-2 times 4.
Is this x or is this y?
Y.
So I can't put it in here. So that's a really common mistake that I have many people make. They just want to put it for the first variable. So keep going. Plus 3 times
4.
Yeah, 3 times the 4 equals the 14. So I have -2x plus 12 equals 14. I'm going to subtract 12 on both sides. When I subtract 12 on both sides, what am I looking at, Wyatt?
-2x equals 2.
Equals 2. We divide both sides by -2. And if I'm looking at that answer, my value for x should be -1. So I'm looking down here and I find -1, 4. So that is my answer for 7.